Hi everyone, it's time for some more issues of the Build the Millennium Falcon series. I've got 4 here now, so moving on with the next one, which is issue 69, and looks like we're just finishing off the top of that engine compartment and then getting onto some of the detail. I think I saw the antenna in one of these issues as well, so right, let's get on, and I'll come back to you shortly and show you what we're up to. Okay, right, yes, issue 69 really is not too much to show you, so not too much to bore you with really. We're just putting the last piece on, which you'll be familiar with because we've already done quite a few of them, so we're just gonna finish that one off, and then it'll be straight on to issue 70, so not much to show you on this one. Okay, that's what you should have for the end of issue number 69. The only thing to be careful of, I thought this was just going to be so simple it's not worth even mentioning, but there are actually 2 sets of screws which look identical, the ones that we put in here, but one set is longer than the other, and on 2 of these I put the long ones in without thinking, and it's actually pushed up through the surface. Now luckily it's going to be hidden by these exhausts or intakes, but I thought I'd just point it out because that was a silly mistake for me to make. I'd just forgotten which screws it was, and I picked up 2 that were the long ones before I realised they should stop just here. But as you can see, I had 2 that went straight through the surface. But it's fixable because you can always just sand it down. That's assuming that those circular intakes sit flush on here. We can always just sand this down, but I would imagine they're hollowed out anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a problem, but just thought I'd mention it. Anyway, let's get on with the next issue. Okay, so here's issue 70. Looks like we've got some interesting parts. This is obviously the top of the forward section of the hull in between the mandibles. The loading mandibles, I think they're called. Anyway, I'll make a start and show you anything that's relevant or important. Okay, stage number 70 is pretty much just a detailing part, so not too much to explain, I wouldn't have thought again, but I'll make a start telling you about anything that's important. Really, we're just doing the upper hull. This is the centerpiece between the loading. I'm pretty sure they're called mandibles. Anyway, that's it. So I shall make a start, and I won't bother you with all the detail, but I'll just give you any information that is important. Okay, and that brings us to the end of stage 70. All the little detail bits are in there, all the little greeblies. So that brings us pretty much to the end of this issue, so that's it for now. I'll go make a start on the next one, which looks like some more surface detail, hull detail, so see you shortly. Hi all, okay, moving on to issue 71 of Build the Millennium Falcon. A little bit more hull detail by the look of things, so let's make a start and see what we're dealing with. As usual, if there's anything sort of urgently important, any issues I find, I shall let you know. So I'll come back to you shortly. Let's make a start. Okay, a couple of points I'll point out, may not be necessary. Some of you may say, oh well, I can figure that out for myself, but I'll just mention it anyway. When you do the little tiny magnets in here, be careful, they just flick around all over the place. I have actually lost one, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution for that. Although D'Agostini are pretty good, I rang them once to say I'd lost a small part, and they said it's absolutely no problem. They just sent me out another edition free of charge, which is super of them, I think. But yeah, they're a bit fiddly, and if you get them wrong, they fly away, which one has, and it depends if you've got a clean floor as to whether you're going to find it or not. So the other interesting thing, I've just come to this part. So stage 71. Instruction number 4 is to take one of the large magnets and put it into that hole, which is that hole right there. Now, magnet didn't fit at all, completely. So I looked at those and thought they're all the same magnets, but they're not. There is a very, very slight diameter difference between the magnets. Okay, there is a colour difference. Now I come to see it, it's pretty obvious. But until I realised there were, so effectively we're saying there's 3 sizes, not 2 sizes. So if, like me, you're doing this when you're a bit distracted, because I've got some work stuff going on at the minute, when they're saying put these magnets into these holes. They're talking about the lighter coloured ones, which are slightly smaller diameter than the darker coloured ones. So apologies if that's obvious to you, but in case it's not, hopefully that will help you making a mistake. Anyway, that's it. Bye. I'll be back with some more updates. Okay, that's the end of the forward top section here. The magnets are in place, and we've got some sort of quite intricate little bits of detail going on there. So now really it looks like we're going to go and get the top half of the hull, put the other magnets on the top of that, so this whole section will just hold itself down with the magnets. So I'm going to go and grab that now and get those glued. Okay, so that's all the magnets in place. So basically what we have is the north and south poles and the magnets in the right places, so that should drop onto there and hold in place, and there we go. That's the front end of the Falcon sorted. So that's it for now. I'm going to make a start on the next issue, which is issue 72. Okay, issue 72 of the Build the Millennium Falcon, and we're building the antenna array. So let's get on, see what it's like. Okay, just need to think a little bit about the parts for the antenna, but it's pretty straightforward. Just follow the instructions and just use the photos to make sure you get bits the right way round, because there's a couple where you could get it wrong, but not too many. And you should end up with something like that, or even like that. And then it's not glued at the pivot, so you can move it, and if you sort of put it down at that sort of angle, and then it says you can go and test it on the actual fuselage. So let's go and do that. Although it's pouring with rain, so give me 2 seconds and I'll meet you in there. Yeah, it's pouring out there now. Right then, okay, so this is the Falcon as it's looking at the moment. So I'm just going to put that in there, and it rotates. So let's just turn the TV off. So that terrible news every day at the moment. Anyway, there we go. That's what we've got. Obviously this bit is looking too thin. I've just stood the upper hull on the lower hull. Obviously it should be a bit higher when we've got the side walls in place, but that's the antenna. Needs a little bit of painting. There should be a grey part on there at some point. I can't remember. I think it's top and bottom if memory serves, but there we go. So the Falcon is coming on. So that brings us up to the end of, let me just see, I can't remember what we've had, issue 72. So we're 3/4 of the way there almost. I might put that rear engine part in. Doesn't need to be in yet, they don't tell us to fit it, but you know me, I like to see what it's looking like as we're going through the build, so I might just put that in place. But there we go. So that brings us to the end of that issue. So I hope it's been helpful. There's not too much to show you. The interesting thing is going to be when we get to the painting and the detailing, and then I want to put some additional lights in there. I've decided I'm going to put all the lights that go under here. There's a load of white lights and a load of little tiny red lights that are going to go all around the place, which I'm going to do with fibre optics. They're not in the kit, but I'm going to put them in, I think. So I'm going to do quite a bit of modding to this as we get to an appropriate stage, which is why I spent so much time making sure all the inside was light blocked. So if I'm going to do some more lighting, which I planned to all along, it's not going to show through the hull. So there we go. So that's that done. So I shall say, well, goodbye from me. Sorry about the state of the house, but I'll also say goodbye from BB-8 here. These are the full-size builds I'm doing. And R2, these are, you've probably seen my other videos. These are the full-size droids. BB's all 3D printed, but it's just a pity that's not full-size. Could you imagine it? Anyway, let's not go there. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope it's helpful, and I'll catch you all next time.